Okay, we're live on YouTube while we get set up. And I'm gonna get the other ones going. It's 9:25. Did you have this joke yogurt?
All right. Am I using the loud mic for this or?
No.
Okay.
I think I need to put the Facebook one down here so it can get wide enough. But is that gonna like?
No, it's all right.
Okay. Can you see it?
I can see it. I'm barely in it, so I should.
Well, I know, but I mean.
I'll go here.
Okay. Here, I'll put this one here too. So it's.
Okay.
Okay, and then let me get this one going.
And should I use that snowball?
No, none of that is
None of
applicable
that.
for this.
Right.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. All right. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining me. I went on live Instagram yesterday and got some questions from you. And so just going to answer a few of those, and then we're going to look at Matseyasana fish pose today, because that was somebody's question, is how do you make Matseyasana more comfortable? Good question, because it's a potentially awkward pose. What is it doing?
You could scoot further closer to the cameras for this part,
For this
unless
part.
you're going to do asana.
Oh, okay. Okay, sure. I'll come closer while I'm talking here. All right. So there's some good questions, like someone asked, well, how long do you recommend doing Shavasana? And I will tell you, Shavasana is my most challenging pose. But I would say between 1 minute and 15. Okay, that's how long. Try to do at least 1 minute. But it's such a good thing to, at least sometimes, really set yourself up well for it and stay for some time. Okay? And sometimes I use a timer to get myself to stay. All right, and then somebody asked about the theme. To me, this is a theme for today's Asana Kitchen, and it's why I chose Matseyasana, or fish pose, because they're asking how to make it more comfortable. Okay, and that's an actual word in yoga. Sukha is comfy, okay, or agreeable. And so it's a very important asana ingredient. And one clue that you always want to keep in mind when you want to make a pose more comfortable is to break it up into steps. Okay, and I think of every pose as having a progression, and the progression, there's different ideas of a progression. Okay, but one idea is that you start from samastitihi, and then you find out, you go step by step through to find your pose. Okay, and then within those steps, see, here's the key, is that there's what I call the Sva Rupa of every posture. Okay, that means that Sva Rupa is, it comes in the Yoga Sutras, right? The Chitta Vritti Nirodha, Tada Drashtu Swarupe Avasthanam. So that when yoga happens and your mind stops to act, or you stop identifying with the flow of thought in your mind, then your intrinsic essence as a seer to the world comes, right? But there's a Sva Rupa of everything. Every posture there's an intrinsic essence of triangle pose, an intrinsic essence of a back bend. And so you're on the hunt for that intrinsic essence. Okay. And the cool thing about it, and this is what's so awesome about the yoga, is that, see, we tend to think that the Sva Rupa, that we can only find the essence or the bliss or the nectar in the most advanced or extreme version of the pose. So that's why we can do a pose and be very uncomfortable in it for days or months or even years. And the amazing thing about the Sva Rupa of the pose is that it's the essence of it. So you can find that essence in every step. Okay, from the easiest, the most simple step to the most advanced. And if you can't find that essence in every step, it's not the essence. Okay, and this is so cool. All right, and so you see, and then somebody else asked, and I'm going to show you the essence, what I think of. You have to find your own idea of the essence. But my idea of the essence of Matseyasana, I'm going to share it with you, and then show you a little progression. Okay, but somebody also asked, how can you get the courage to do handstand or Pincha Mayurasana? You see, and this, it's actually this, what I'm talking about addresses this question too. You see, because the courage is not to do Pincha or handstand, a forearm balance. What the courage is to have the patience to go through the steps in the progression, to start way back at the beginning, and then work on that step day after day, and search for the essence of the pose, and then try to bring that essence to every step. Okay, so it's not the courage we're talking about. It's not just like, okay, I'm brave, I'm gonna kick up there. No, it takes a lot of bravery to get on your mat each day and work at the right step and try little risks. All right? Okay, so the essence of Matseyasana. Okay, so if you go from Samastitihi, right, then you come down to Dandasana. I'm going to back up a little bit here so you can see me. So Dandasana is right from the single line to two lines. So this all is still Samastitihi. This is now horizontal. All right. So the essence of fish pose, it isn't even with the lotus, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, it's to root your legs. Okay, whether they're straight, whether they're crossed, whether they're in half lotus, whether they're in full lotus. Okay, so the legs are your anchors. Okay, and so that makes up like 1/2 of the essence of Matseyasana. And so if you want to get comfortable, ground, get into your legs. Okay, and many people will find lotus uncomfortable. All right, but what I'm saying is you can solve that. You don't have to do Matseyasana with lotus. You can do it right here with Dandasana. Okay, so then the second part of the essence is simply a mighty expansion of the chest. That's all. It's just a lean back and lift your heart. Okay, and so when I work on a pose, there's two avenues of development. Okay, one is the transition. Okay, so I isolate that transition and repeat it. Okay, and that's part of how you get ease and comfort, is you like explore the transition. And the transition even has its own Sva Rupa. Okay, and then the second branch is the pose. So there's the transition and the position. Okay, and so I recommend you research like that. And so if you're working on the transition of Matseyasana, the essence is something like this. It starts with rooting and then so you start from a neutral spine position, you ground and you go back and lift your chest. And then back up. And you play with that. Okay, and then you can do that with the lotus or with cross legs. So root the legs and then so when you go back, right? And then project. Chest. Puff the chest and go back. Puff the chest and go back. All right. Okay, so when you go into Matseyasana, your head goes to the ground. Okay, and so that's a part of the foundation. Is you've got your legs grounding and your head grounding. And so when you're working with the steps, you want to create that connection with the earth. So like for me, I have this chair and I'm going back. You have to find just the right spot that allows you to kind of wedge your head so you can get leverage. See, this is a wonderful version of fish pose. So you've got the legs grounded, the spine lifting, chest opening, head grounding. So you can do it without the lotus too. All right, and then, so that's a very comfy version. And comfy is such a funny word for a yoga pose, right? This is tapas, you guys. Okay, it's relative. All right, so then I'm going to use the blocks to go a little bit lower. Okay, so I put two, one for the upper back, one for the head. So, you kind of figure out the nice spot. All right, and then you can work the transition. So you can go up, down. It's actually quite hard. And then you finally settle in and look at me, look at the pelvis. So one thing you want when you do Matseyasana, okay, you don't want to lift your hips and tuck your tail. Okay, there's a tendency to lift this up when you start to go back. But you want to root, really strike down through the legs and stabilize your pelvis. Okay, so you keep your legs as heavy as possible, keep your seat down, and work. So you could stretch the arms over. That's a nice variation. And you also could, Joy, could you hand me that black block?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you could also customize the height of the head. You probably need another block actually too. There you go. All right. And then you can work your way down.
And one of the things that you talked about is how the upper body and the lower body have two different jobs.
Yeah. Yes. I like the image of the centaur, right? The centaur has the horse lower body and the human upper body. And so that's that's part of the Sva Rupa, or the essence. It's the heavy limbs, light spine. All right, and then so if you go back on the block, then let's see here. See, in this version, it's hard to ground the head in these baby stages. Joy, will you get me that green? Oh no, this thing. This might be better. So what I recommend though is just playing around with it, with these different stages, right? And enjoying it. I also put the sandbags, give some weight to the legs. You can work that transition. You can do it with the Jalandhara Bandha. Really lift the chest and root the legs. Or you can take your head back. Come down, go up. Come down, go up. Come down, go up. Damn.
All right.
One more. Can you hand me that little thin block? Ah. Okay, you want to do the?
Yeah.
So Joy is going to come in and do the pose without any props for you.
Am I doing the transition thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So first she's going to go back to her head, and then she's going to work that little transition move. Come up a bit, go down. And when you go up, lift the chest. And then when you come down, keep the chest lifting. Joy, does this one go out? Is it still happening?
Yeah, hit it. Just hit the screen.
Okay, and then go into it, Joy. And there you have it. Stamp down your thighs, grip your feet, brace your legs, actually ground your head, and then look for the spinal response. Okay, and the spine will project up. Okay, so hopefully that'll give you some ideas to make your posture more sukha. And now before I go,
Oh, you didn't hit the screen.
I did hit it. It's just, I don't.
Yeah, no, it went out then. Okay, there we go.
So in general, in answer to all your questions, I give you this advice: play with the progression. Okay, and so find that progression and play. And like somebody asked me about balancing postures because they said they have flat feet. Okay, so get playful with it. Like none of us use our foot arches to the full capacity. And so one good exercise is to, in your postures, lift up your toes and put them down and lift them up. And that lifting up the toes helps you get a foot arch. But like, if you're having trouble with the balancing postures, play with them more. Like it. So like when we do Ardha Baddha, we just take the lotus and then we go forward without ever really thinking about all the cool possibilities that are there to play and to play with your balance. Okay? Have fun and mix it up. Look for the Sva Rupa, the essence. All right? So I'll see you next month, the first Saturday of May. I hope you enjoyed it. I always enjoy sharing with you all. Happy to connect. Do remember I have a second series workshop coming up in online, April 17th and 18th. Love to have you join in on that. You can do the live class or there's a recording you can do later. I'm just reading your little things as well as I can see them.
All right, they're coming.
All right.
Cool.
Have a happy Saturday. Bye-bye.